Here we go. Okay, she's back.
I'm back. Yeah, it's been a little bit nutty this past month. Like I went to Philadelphia, then I went home, then I went to San Francisco, then I went home, then I went to Baltimore, didn't go home, go straight back to California to Sonoma County, then came home.
Well, in the grand picture and what's prioritized, you may not have seen my text to you and Kate saying that I got queen bee, but
I did see that, and I could not. And there was like one stupid little word that eluded me on that same one. So
that one, it's the New York Times spelling bee.
Oh, okay.
And it's super fun, but every once in a while it's like a super short one, or for some weird reason. Kate said that Dana, you have two.
I know.
Is in a feedback loop.
Yeah. Anyway, that particular day was a short one for me. I didn't even get the panagram until after I got Genius. So anyway.
All right, I think it has. Is that Dana's feedback or me?
It's me.
Oh, it's Dana.
Because I'm also on two devices, but I think I'm all muted on my side.
Well, she's muted on one and.
Well, okay, that's solved my feedback. Yeah, so Queen Bee.
Yeah, and I knew you were busy, but I figured, she might need just a little bit of, levity.
No, I appreciated that. It was great.
No, because there was a Wordle. I mean, it's funny as somebody who doesn't do Wordle and have so many people in my life who talk about Wordle all the time. I feel like a couple days ago, people were like, oh, that Wordle, was it even a word? Like, how many guesses did it take you? I don't know, in the last week or so?
Could be.
Oh, which
I'm
one?
terrible at it. I get it.
I always feel like I'm out of the loop. Like, I don't have anything to say. It's like TV. It's the same thing. People talk about TV. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
TV and Wordle.
Well, the Wordle and the spelling bee are the first things I do. Either if I can't sleep, I do them in the middle of the night.
Me too.
Or first thing when I wake up. It's just like a nice way to kind of go, okay, let me get my brain going a little bit. And I'm not yelling at anybody yet. And if I am, it's myself.
Well, and today would be a good day to be yelling at people.
My flip back again.
I'm going to disappear then.
So were all anything notable about your travels?
Yeah, twice I was the diversity in the room, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, I was the only
height, race, gender.
Race. I was the only white speaker at an event called Chroma in Philadelphia. To which my friend Ania said, "Oh, this time you get to be the sprinkles."
That's right, the vanilla sprinkles.
Vanilla sprinkles.
Was it international or domestic audience?
Domestic audience. Yeah, domestic audience, and that was interesting because my colleague Naja and I are testing out some narrative framing around trauma-informed finance. And, we have the racial difference, we have an age difference, we have a height difference, right? So we have a culture difference. So it ends up being really compelling. Like people were really responding well to our dog and pony. That was great. And then I was in Baltimore for a project. I'm not typically as hands-on as I am with that particular project, but we're just, doing some testing on how we do advisory services coming outside of the US Unite Co-op. And so my company was sort of in the weeds with this group of mostly Black-led grassroots organizations who are forming a data cooperative. And so I'm in the middle of the project because I'm learning about, account management and managing multiple subs that are all part of the co-op, right? But we're doing it under the banner of the co-op. So I got to be, we went to they put on, our clients basically put on a community event to educate this community of, it's a low-income neighborhood in Baltimore. So again, predominantly Black, about, why they should own their own data. And I had just such huge question marks about how that was going to go across, and if people
And their own data is like demographic data, or
yeah, like think of it as the really intimate data that like grassroots service providers collect about families and teen moms and young men who may or may not have been drug dealing, yada yada yada, right? Like they do a lot of there's like 60 of them, organizations that are doing this frontline programming and direct service to this neighborhood that's like, I mean, you can just tell by walking around, it's a total food desert. Like there's
Right.
nothing going on, right? There's like the after school activities are all put together by these mom and pop nonprofits. And so this group of them got together and said, and then the United Way calls us and they want to extract all our data, or then so-and-so wants
Yeah.
us to come and do a song and dance with this, successful dude who used to be a felon and now he runs a food truck. And they were like, enough with that. Like that's extractive. We're just going to hold on to the information and make our own, see how we can monetize that in our own way. But I mean, hello, a data co-op is a pretty abstract concept, right? And so I had such questions about how this steering group was going to communicate all this to just Joe Schmo community member. And so here we had, my colleague Julie and I had set up this whole, like when you do basically intercept interviews, right? And you're getting people to answer some questions, and we had big poster boards. We're putting them, sticky notes, asking them questions. And I have this glorious picture, and she and I were just in the support capacity. I was once again the sprinkles, but we were really just in a support capacity, and we were watching the steering group from our clients interact directly with their community stakeholders. And I have this wonderful picture of one of them. He's like this tall dude, Coop, crouched down with a bunch of fourth graders, asking them the questions for the kids and students demographic of the community. And then I look down the next table over, this other guy, Jason, is talking to the Democratic candidate for governor. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like that juxtaposition of they were covering all their stakeholders in this one photo, the fourth graders and the governor.
Oh, that's very cool. And
Yeah,
in Philly, less, yeah.
Yeah, this one, the first one was in Philly, the second one was in Baltimore. Yeah,
In Baltimore, yeah.
And was the governor a person of color?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence my note about being the sprinkles, Roz. I was on two of my travels. I was in predominantly Black and brown communities, and very, very visibly was the diversity.
Mm.
That only happens to me on the bus here, where I'm often the only white lady on the bus.
Oh, in DC, yeah, depending on, yeah.
Well, yeah, on the bus lines, depending on what time, like this morning I got on the bus at 7:30, and it's definitely me and everybody who's going early to work. So it's all, yeah, I'm the only lady, but how cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. And so far, fingers crossed, I don't think I got sick on my travels. I'm one of the 10% on a plane that's masking. I will say it's nice flying Southwest Airlines because of the way they do the boarding. You can basically select your seatmates who are
Right.
also
So you can
masking.
sit next to somebody who's masked. Absolutely.
You can?
On Southwest, you can,
Because
yeah.
Southwest, you choose, you get on in line and you choose your seat. So if somebody sits down next to you and they're not masked, you can just move.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or you can choose to sit next to somebody who's masked. Yeah.
My exchange student is going to fly to New York in, I remember, December. And one of the legs is Southwest. So
Yeah.
we'll remember that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Ross.
Hello, I'm confused. Who's C or DC, Illinois?
That's my conference room because I'm sitting at work
Ah.
and my laptop sound isn't very good. So we're actually all on a big screen TV in my conference room.
Ooh.
I can see myself wave. It's very meta.
But there were still a few people at the office. People are coming in now on Tuesdays, so I didn't want to sit at my desk,
All right, right.
but
Very nice. I don't know, but if it is the sound, is it me, the sound is bad?
We got a little bit of feedback. But
Well, that was my fault because for some reason I couldn't get my video to play, and then I turned on my phone as well, and I knew it was going to happen, but it was worse than I thought it was going to be.
Ah, okay,
Sorry.
okay.
So now I figured it out. All good.
yeah, yeah. So Astrid, do you know that Dana's coming to DC in like 72 hours?
I know. How
Woohoo.
amazing. How
I'm excited.
amazing.
It's going to be
Please send
fun.
pictures. Please wear your go-go boots and have lots of adventures and send pictures.
Yeah, wow.
We have to wear go-go boots? I didn't know that.
Very jealous.
But you don't pack yours just automatically? That's how
I
the
know.
first one goes in your suitcase?
Well, I mean, I am known to travel with 2 or 3 pairs of flu bugs. Come on.
That, okay, I'll give you.
We've already discussed that Dana needs to like dress up just a tiny bit for DC, right?
Yes, that's I've actually been thinking about my shoe situation because I'm a boot kind of girl.
Uh-huh. Got to get a pair of boots.
I've got my Blundstones, which I'll probably bring just because they've got some height to them and they're super comfortable. And then I've got some other, I don't know. I have 2 different, like when I'm at my parents' place, it can be more casual, but I can't go to the dining room in blue jeans. So
Hmm.
we'll see. I'm going to come looking like the conservative appearing white lady that I am, but then I'm going to open my mouth and say fuck everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You're talking about to Williamsburg, right?
I don't know, wherever I am, wherever I happen to be. Did you see my text about what my brother said about
I
Arlington?
did see
Did
that,
I-
yeah.
yeah,
You probably won't
that's,
be able to make it to the cemetery to see,
yeah.
because
I had
it's,
forgotten, I'd forgotten the last time I was there was for my Uncle Al's funeral. And so you don't, when you're with a funeral cortege party, you don't have to go through security. You're already pre-screened but yeah.
but I have to say, I mean, the times I've gone, because I haven't been out there since the pandemic, but I don't remember there being any big security issues.
Yeah,
It's like
Doug
at
said,
the museum, you like walk through like you do airport security. But maybe I was thinking because of Armistice Day that they may have tightened security there, but
yeah, there will probably be a good number of people that are going through. There are people that have family holder passes, which we don't have to my knowledge. He said that being able to drive through too. I don't know it's very different from my memory as a
you
child. We
definitely
just,
drive through. You
yeah, I
definitely.
mean, we used to just drive in and drive right up to my grandfather's spot and nobody, but I guess it's a different world that we live in. And I really don't feel like applying and playing by their rules. So I'm gonna go do what I want to do.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Look who's calling me.
Oh my gosh, that's,
Awesome. That's a beautiful photo.
Hold on for just a second.
I wonder if
There-
that's Dana's photo or.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. What's all this about? Such a thing as engagement photos now. So this is just like a big thing, right?
Oh, I feel like photos are big for everything, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
like your dog's
Who
birthday.
you are, I guess.
I know, but like a formal photo for an engagement, that like is quite new, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
No,
looks
it's-
lovely. It looks beautiful,
It's
but
it's the Instagram generation.
yeah, that looks lovely. It looks beautiful, but
Yeah.
on a
I feel like
scale.
everywhere, so many places I go in DC, people are taking those photos, either engagement, pregnant, a lot of pregnant ones.
Mm.
Like posing in front of whatever.
My my stepson and his wife had a photographer for their daughter's first birthday party.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
And
well,
also
I
a
did that.
very formal, like flower arrangement and a little screen where people could take pictures in front of. Like, wow.
Oh, well, I have to admit, I think I did that in Indonesia.
Oh, did you know? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
What did
But
you
it's
do in Indonesia? What did I miss?
I think I had a photographer. I mean, it was a photographer that I'd bought like a stock number of like sessions with him. And I think it ended with her first birthday or something like that.
I remember doing things like that. That was
Yeah.
fun.
But not as an adult, but yeah.
No, I don't want anybody taking professional photos of me.
Don't
Yeah,
be
we
taking
didn't even
any
have a
pictures of me.
photographer at your 50th. We had Anita. But
Yes, that's true.
yeah. Well, I'm going to be taking a lot of photos of us, Dana,
Yeah, we want to see them all.
Okay.
everywhere we go. I'm gonna make everybody jealous that we're doing so many things, so many
Yeah,
fun things.
put them on the group, put them on the group.
Create all sorts of jealousy
Yes,
among the
please.
masses.
Astrid, I did the photos for your 50th birthday, right?
Yeah.
I made you that nice album.
Yes, you
Or I
did.
mean, it's not an album, but a Google.
Online
doc.
album.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what are you working on, Dana? What were you flashing up there?
Oh, I just have, most of them are on the table. I'm working on something that's similar to the last one that I did. So I've dyed all of these different hemp strings. So now I've tied these on. I don't know if you can hear them or not. There's tons of them. I mean, there's going to be about 6 or 7 groups of them, and I've got a lot more string to dye. And the idea is that it's going to make a slight chiming sound, but we'll see.
Nice.
I
I thought
would
they were
not-
miniature handcuffs.
Pardon?
I thought they were when you held them up the first time, I'm like, are those miniature handcuffs?
Oh, they're
Ooh,
copper rings, and they have such a, they just feel really, really good.
So they're gonna hang from a canvas, you think?
Yeah, there's these.
But those need to be dyed still.
No, these are dyed. These are like it's kind of hard to tell. They're like a Aztec orange, kind of
Yeah, yeah.
deep burnt orange.
that's a nice picture behind you. Ooh,
So
oh,
those-
wow.
So those are all. That's Catherine's bird that she did for a commission. So I'm guessing she put it up there because she's finished with it now, but it looks really nice.
It does.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
amazing.
work.
Wow.
And then she's got the wall o' birds over there.
All right.
But she reorganized them. Since we have all the space now, since Jane is gone, we just kind of spread out and took over, and we like it.
Nice.
Good.
Dance party in your studio.
Yeah.
I'm serious. This is a great place. We've had dance parties in here, and it is the sound is good, and there's a lot of open. I mean, just push everything to the side and start dancing.
It's cool enough there now, yeah?
Oh yeah, it's really nice in here.
I've only been there in the summer. It's been pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was looking at. We've been here for almost 13 years now, and it seems like
Wow.
every July and August, we really don't get a whole lot of work done. I mean, aside from going camping, obviously,
Mhm.
and then just the heat. So, but that's okay. It's legit. Now we feel that's our holiday period.
Exactly. Yeah. And so in DC, have you guys got plans for like going out to
Mhm.
a nice
We're-
bar or?
We have a lot of ideas afloat. And we're gonna go where the winds take us. Yeah, Dana?
I think so.
Run around in my little electric car.
I mean, I only have a couple of things that I really want to see, and that's the Museum of the American Indian. And I just want to see that Olga de Amaral piece. And if that doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world because I've seen her other work.
Mhm.
But yeah, otherwise, bring it on.
Yeah,
Put your little jingly things out the window and see which direction they take you.
right.
I'm
That's right.
really excited about inspiration. I feel like whenever I travel, I just get flooded with ideas for work to do. So I'm definitely going to have my my book with me so that I can write stuff down. Otherwise, I'll
Okay.
kick myself.
Okay. We'll do that.
I will be curious to hear what your reactions are to the Museum of the Native Americans Museum.
I can't imagine that I would be anything less than thrilled. I mean, I know, Laurel, you said that you thought that it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I'm not as connected to Native American history as you are.
I just am really interested to see what, who's given what. I mean, it's a
Right.
pretty big deal, for the tribes to, museums, as we know, don't have a great long history when it comes to indigenous cultures.
Yeah.
Or other cultures that are non-white, period. So I found that I was thinking about that when they were building the museum, like, how is this going to be handled? But they must have, I mean, I can't imagine they'd have anything but all Native curators, because that
I
would
hope.
be dumb.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think from what
Okay.
memory serves, a couple of pieces that really stuck with me. One is a giant map of the United States rendered in glass, onto which are etched all the native languages that have gone extinct.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's some really good sort of
Some
engagement with the whole genocide, really.
Yeah.
But that's important because that I was telling my friend Gretchen when she's in San Diego, or she's going to be in San Diego soon, and she said that there was a place that she wanted to go visit. I think it's like a Chicano village. That's a recreation of an indigenous Mexican village on the border. And I was like, that sounds really stinking cool, to be able to go check that out. And I've said that I had felt myself being pulled more and more over the past couple of years towards indigenous activism and support.
Mhm.
And I'm not very good about putting myself out in person because I'm an introvert and I don't like crowds. They freak me out. But there's other ways to engage,
Mhm.
especially through museum activities and about reminding people that Native people are still here. They're not gone.
Yeah.
They're here. They're very active in their communities and in the cities, and you just aren't paying attention.
Yeah, right.
Well,
And
the
there's
city
a
of
big-
Portland, just as a side note, how great the city of Portland government is. In light of the time that it takes to do a land acknowledgement, they removed it from all of their public meetings.
Did they?
Mhm.
What, do they not have, so instead of reading out the full land acknowledgement, which I will say does, I mean, I've had to read a good paragraph before some tours. I don't know how long theirs
Cares?
is.
It doesn't matter how long it takes. It needs to be done. It's just
What?
one of those really basic, like saying hello. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't tell me your name. Don't tell me anything else, but just one little, doesn't have to be long. Anyway, that was my 2 cents.
No, I think that's true. That's really shitty if they did that because it's taking too much time. That's kind of bullshit.
And then they spend 2 or 4 fucking hours, 14 meetings in a row, going
Tormenting
into
everyone.
bylaws and how important the period is, or to change a word to and instead of no
Wow.
one gives a fuck. Yeah.
You know,
Anyway.
that reminds me, does anybody want to go, any one of the Portlanders, to the Oscar Howe exhibit at the Portland Art Museum? He's a Native American artist.
Yeah, I saw that. How long is that running?
I think it runs through May.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Huh?
and it is
Um,
organized.
Rosaline, let's, you and I go to Portland and we can go there.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
They also have really, the museum gift store has some pretty great Christmas cards and stuff like that. If you go before Christmas, that's been
Yep.
where I mean, I think the last 5 years, all my cards, Christmas cards have come from there.
Yeah.
And I get a discount because I can just flash my docent badge.
That's
20%
right.
off, I think.
Right.
Not too shabby.
Not
Yeah.
too shabby.
Shabby.
Well, there's a big Supreme Court decision this week about the Indian Child Welfare Act. Looks like it will be overturned by the Supreme Court, I think tomorrow, Dana. Dana and I have been trying to follow it because there's going to be a lot of Native American activists in DC this week. I actually walked by the Supreme Court today to see if there was anything happening. It was still just abortion rights. Those people are, those,
Did you say that you think that they are planning to overturn it?
I mean, I think that it's going to rule against Native peoples. I don't know if it's overturn it, right?
Why are
Yeah.
what's their logic for overturning it?
I haven't read enough on it, Dana, but I mean, it's a conservative court, right? So.
I know, I'm just wondering how this is going to affect, you know, any repatriation claims of children.
I think I mean, as I.
an oxymoron. Supreme Court,
as I
people who are on the
understand it-
Supreme Court and logic.
Yeah, it's about the, you know, the sovereignty of Native law, right? That's what it's going to affect. So even though it's focused on, you know, children who were taken away or are being taken away from their Native parents,
Mhm.
it'll set precedents for.
Yeah, that's going to cause a whole cascade effect. Once you take away Native sovereignty, that changes how people can access reservations.
Mhm.
Right,
I
and then what
mean-
is protected or not protected on a reservation, so it's based.
Oh God, this is going to be a disastrous nightmare. Shit.
I don't know, I mean, ever since I've been clocking it, I haven't, I'm seeing it on my activists, but, you know, circles, but
Here's the Indian Country Today coverage on the.
Yeah.
Mm,
Website.
good. Thank you.
so.
Although, I
um,
mean, it's you know, we were just in California at Green Valley Farm outside Sebastopol, and our board member, who is Native American, couldn't come because she was sick, and not that it would have been her job to do any kind of land acknowledgement, but I just sort of noticed that nobody from the host organization or from our group was sort of taking a moment to say, hey, where are we actually on this land? And so I
Yeah.
looked up where I couldn't recall if there was a federally recognized tribe like right there outside Sebastopol, because I'm more familiar with the coastal tribes, the Yurok and the Karuk and so on, and the Hupa. And but it turns out we were in a very fascinating place. We were near the Grayton, what is it, Federated Indians of Grayton Rancheria, which is a newly created federally recognized tribe made up of Coast Miwok and Southern Pomo, and they were only re-established in like 2000 in the Clinton administration after having been terminated in 1958. And they were down to, you have to appreciate, like this is a group of Native Americans who under the Mexican colonial time in California, that's where the rancherias come from, right? They received a land grant of 80,000 acres. That got whittled down to 4,000 just by encroachment by settlers. And then at the time of termination, it was basically turned into private property, which is anathema, right, to Native Americans, given to a handful of families. And by the time they were re-recognized, they were down to one Miwok family that was holding on to 1 acre. And that was the basis for the claim, right? And they were down to like 2 native speakers of the language. And so instead of doing a land acknowledgement, I just read them the history page that the tribe had put together about what happened across the timeline.
Mhm.
And it was kind of like, you could have heard a pin drop. Like, people just didn't know. They don't, like most Americans in my experience, don't know about termination,
No.
much
Yeah.
less know about the role that the casinos play in
Yeah.
trading land, right? So there was this instant reaction, like, oh, the casino, and now we're taking advantage of poor white people. And like, yeah, and that is the mechanism by which we Native Americans buy back land
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I'm all
Had you
for
been
it.
following the Supreme Court case, Astrid?
This one, no. Mm-mm.
No, I just wonder how much it's getting play in any news.
I mean, if you don't
I
read
think 'cause
like,
it's hitting at the midterms, it's
Mhm.
definitely not getting coverage in mainstream media unless you're really looking for
No,
it.
you have to really look for it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I don't know actually whatever happened to the idea of building a Native American embassy in DC.
well,
Yeah, so
that's
there's
a
a
very
tribal
good
embassy.
question.
Yeah, there
I
is a
haven't
tribal
heard about that
embassy.
since I've been in DC.
Hmm?
I haven't heard about that since I've been in DC.
Yeah, it's at 1514 P Street in Northwest.
Hmm.
And it's the as the chairman of so years and years and years ago, like we EcoTrust, who I was then working for, had an Indigenous Leadership Award, and Ron Allen, who's been the chairman of the Jamestown S'Klallam tribe in Washington State, took part of his award. There's a small, like $25,000 whatever cash amount, and used that to begin the work on a concept study for what a tribal embassy would look like in DC. So what is going to happen, I think, is if and when the Supreme Court tries to strike that down, I think the tribes are going to escalate it to the UN and say, you're violating our sovereign rights as nations.
Sweet. That's
the next
awesome.
step here. Yeah.
I think that sounds really good.
Because
I'm gonna-
that's what we
I'm gonna try
forget,
to-
right? Like that's what we forget, right? The Supreme Court, like none of the US courts have jurisdiction really over most of tribal matters because these are sovereign nations.
Yeah, but that's what
Yeah.
that's what this court case is gonna try to weigh in on, right?
This is really about water. This is about oil. This is about the ability to take away sovereign lands, to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to mine. They've been blocked at every point on being able to mine on native land. And this gives them a foot in the door easily
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to do that. And so it's really disastrous in so many ways. I can't stand those fuckers. What the fuck? Oh my God. The Supreme Court, how could they get?
We're definitely gonna go by the Supreme Court and get a picture of Dana flipping the finger or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I will, believe me. I have another photo somewhere of going
Kavanaugh mask.
past the IRS when
Right. Hopefully
when the
there'll be
steam
something
was
out
rising
there.
out of the grate, and I took a
sign
photo
that-
and I was like, the gates of fucking hell.
Somebody will have a sign that we can borrow.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Okay.
picking a very boring week to go to DC is what I'm hearing, Dana.
I apparently so, and I didn't. I'm kind of excited about how boring it's gonna be.
Hey, it's on you to spice it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty free with this.
We'll get some of that going.
Do
All right,
ya?
let's get going, ladies.